What movie's ending was the most unexpected and caught you completely off guard? Whiplash. When J.K. Simmons says one of his final lines, "You think I'm freaking stupid." Sitting there watching that movie had me uneasy for most of it, but the way he delivers that line is terrifying. Crazy Stupid Love. It makes sense when you think about it, but at the time you were like, oh crap. Also, American Beauty. Although, they did tell you how it would end at the start, they didn't tell you how it got to be that way, which was unexpected. Loved the twist in Crazy Stupid Love, and the scene with the fight has me cracking up. Definitely didn't see that one coming, but I feel like it should have been obvious. The Mist. I just sat there in shock for a while after it ended. Didn't even want to think about the movie for months afterwards. I love a good mind frick, but damn it, that was painful. That's not even in the Stephen King story. He loved the ending a lot though. The Prestige. The ending made me watch the movie over again. Probably my most repeated content here is about The Prestige, and for 4 days afterwards I couldn't stop thinking about the ramifications. Just an amazing movie. The Others has the most perfectly executed twist of any movie in my opinion. It's shocking, but it's also the perfect way to turn a movie on its head. You have a pretty engaging horror suspense movie with an interesting plot, and then after the twist you can immediately watch the movie again and see an entirely different story, equally engaging and even more terrifying. I saw this movie when I was 10 and it was my favorite movie for a good portion of my life. I haven't seen it in over a decade, but it looks like now's the time. Life is Beautiful. Ripped my freaking heart out. It makes me cry like a baby, but not because it is sad, because his love for his son, his tireless ingenuity and creativity, they are finally successful. He saves his son's life and even, presumably, stops him from being traumatized. Through his life and his genius he gives his son the greatest gift anyone could give. It is perfectly beautiful. Monty Python's Holy Grail. The Departed. It's so brutal and sudden after a subtle and drawn out storyline. Not exactly the ending, but the entire third act of Martyrs comes out of nowhere and drives a creepy film straight into the horrifying. Just at the point when you think you've got the film figured out, they find a hidden trapdoor and, bam, the movie whacks you upside the head with a very unpleasant surprise. Old Boy. Taking a twist, and then just making it so depraved that it makes you nauseous. The original definitely. The suspension of disbelief is so great with a foreign movie. Watch The Skin I Live In. Similarly awesome. Cabin in the Woods. When the unicorn gored the guy towards the end, I decided it was one of my favorite movies ever. I think it helped that I knew absolutely nothing about the movie going into it. It seems like movies that I know nothing about in advance I enjoy more. The Lego Movie. It's so weird, even though it makes sense. Everything about that movie is awesome. The Empire Strikes Back. I saw it first run in 1980 and was 12. I would give a lot to be able to remember my reaction to the end of VSB. I was a toddler when it came out and I don't remember the first time I saw it. Star Wars was always just a part of my childhood. The Game. Starring Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. This is the only movie that has ever truly had me guessing until the very end. Primal Fear. Ed Norton with his best performance. He had a strong string of movies, all early in his career. If I remember correctly, American History X, People vs. Larry Flint, Fight Club, Primal Fear, and I want to say there's a fifth. These weren't meant to be in order. I feel like his career has been a bit strange, up until he killed it in Birdman. What's in the Box? He just told you. Ex Machina. I thought I knew where it was going. The dancing scene was so unexpected. The Bridge to Terabithia. Allington Road and The Usual Suspects. Burn After Reading. The entire ending was one big what the frick. Buried. Anyone? That movie made me so sad and angry at the end. I must admit I didn't see it coming though. Donnie Darko. I still don't understand that movie. If you both watch the director's cut and read some of the wiki, it gets a lot clearer. The director's cut shows pages from the book that Grandma Death wrote and that explains a lot of it. Some people like to think of it as just the point of view of a sick kid. but the evidence from the director's cut and the wiki shows that it's a sci-fi about parallel universes. $1 Million Baby, probably called that because I cried like a baby, was not expecting that ending. It was the best of the worst of all possible outcomes. Snowpiercer, I was expecting a happy ending to their bleak struggle. Nope, still bleak. I liked how they made it seem like he was going to take the old frick up on his offer. Then he saw the kid under the floor and was like, nope. Frick you. Frick this train. Frick everything. No Country for Old Men. Talk about having the rug pulled out from under you. The Sixth Sense. My mind was blown. Came out of nowhere. I didn't watch it until it was on cable. I knew it was a good movie and I heard it had a twist. So when it was on I started watching it. A few minutes into it, my sister walks into the room and says, oh, this is that movie where he's. I won't spoil it just in case. I watched the whole thing knowing the ending, thinking how great of a movie it would have been if I didn't know. Book of Eli. Denzel didn't even see that one coming. Two of my friends, one who professes to loving that movie, still don't believe it. Like, literally don't believe. They think I misinterpreted the ending. I think it is they who are blind. Requiem for a Dream. I so badly wanted there to be a slight uptick at the end. It just fell into a deeper pit of despair than I knew existed in films. Equals. Easy Rider. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I never read the book prior to watching the movie. It's the only time I ever had to pause the movie and take a breather. Also The Babysitters. The ending of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas was depressing. Fight Club. 15-year-old sunglasses rapist totally wasn't expecting that crap. The Grand Budapest Hotel. The entire ending hit like a freight train after such a light-hearted and funny movie. It didn't feel like it was even from the same script. End of watch. Almost cried. A friend recommended this movie at one of our get-togethers. We all watched, impressed with the jokes, the action, but that ending. Well, agreed, said friend was not allowed to suggest movies anymore. Gone Girl. That was some twisted crap. Gave me the creeps for quite some time. Secret Window. Not the twist, the ending. It's the most important part of the story, the ending. And this one is very good. Every time I watch that film, I get an insatiable craving for corn. Sleepaway Camp. To be honest, I don't know much about Sleepaway Camp, but my band in college had a song about it. Our lead singer and primary songwriter was a weird guy. I can't remember much about the song itself except for the line, then out comes her penis. Enemy, enemy, a million times enemy. I can tell you in no uncertain terms that it will catch you off guard and you can spend the entire film trying to figure out what it's going to be and it will still catch you off guard. It was just baffling at the time, but watching some theory videos on it is a lot of fun. Full Metal Jacket. It seemed like it was building up to some big thing and then it just ended. To be fair, that movie is really two movies in one. This one just sprang into my mind when I read the question, the perks of being a wallflower. In the space of about 15 minutes it switched from being a cute indie movie with Emma Watson and a few good looking weird kids to being about child molestation. I read the book and yes, it's quite a shocking ending. Brazil's ending was bleak and perfect, and I did not see it coming. Thought you were talking about the World Cup. The Orphanage. At the end my wife was sobbing and then yelled at me, "Goddammit, this is supposed to be a scary movie." And it was a scary movie. My Spanish teacher shows all her classes that movie. It is even weirder when it's in Spanish so you have no clue what is going on. Inside Out. I thought that Bing Bong was going to either save the day or be the villain. I did not expect him to just die. Totally caught off guard by that. Bing Bong dying literally made me and my husband cry in a theater of children. Couldn't believe he wasn't brought back. Sharknado 3. When the shark that eats Tara Reid in space plummets through the atmosphere and into the earth and then a chainsaw starts cutting through it from the inside. I was totally expecting Tara Reid to come out with a cheesy one-liner, but instead, their newborn baby pops out of the gash from the horribly burnt up shark. And then Tara Reid comes out too. Spoiler, everyone seems to going the deep route with intellectually driven films here, but I honestly haven't been so caught off guard with an ending like that in a long time. 10/10 would watch again. I've never seen the movie, yet somehow I think knowing the ending won't spoil the ending. No one has mentioned Unbreakable, but that ending is great. Everything about that movie is so good, and when you rewatch it's so clear that Elijah is the villain. Just look at the way he dresses. Into the Wild. All I knew about it before watching was that it was based on a book, and I assumed that this book must have been an autobiography and that Chris, the protagonist, lived happily ever after. Not exactly : It was a great movie though. Inal Hirsch is a very good actor and some of the supporting roles were outstanding. I watched Oldboy 2013 before Oldboy 2003. The original's ending wrecked me. Was not expecting that crap at all. You have been visited by the wealth rat. Subscribe in 12 seconds and he will share his wealth with you. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.